Ado, Monstruo. I'm probably butchering that. My comment sections on tons of videos blew up, alerting me to this, and thank you for letting me know. Let's see what this is about. Many of the comments are saying this is some of her more off-the-wall stuff, so I'm excited. Okay, so we have a little bit of English, a Spanish feel. There's already a ton to talk about here, just in the first few squeals and notes. Do you hear the whistle chirp thing? That's next level head voice to chest voice. I'm lowering it to make it work in my voice. But she's actually, it sounds like she's accessing a whistle tone up there, not just head voice. Yes. And going into the head voice so confidently, and there's a clean belt, and then she adds a little bit of grit. As she plays with her vibrato a little bit. And messes with her placement. She does so much with her voice at once. It's so interesting. And all the sighs. I love what they did with the reverb there on that yell scream. And does she sigh into that? Yeah. Belt. That scream is awesome because it capitalizes on her belt. But she's adding just enough false chord engagement, that compression-based distortion, to actually dial back the intensity of the note, but make it sound more intense because of the effects and because of the way that she's distorting it. So if you were to hear her in the room making this sound, I bet that scream, that distorted note, would actually be quieter than the note before it by just a little bit. That's what great technique does. It doesn't have to be louder to be more intense. By the way, for you as an Ado fan, I have created a free course for you to be immersed in. Click the link below in the pinned comment or video description. It's a 3-part experience that takes key lines from various Ado songs and makes vocal exercises out of them, super accessible vocal exercises. So you, as an Ado fan and as a practicing singer, can start putting some of these techniques in your voice. The stuff that Ado does is very difficult. However, the way that I've distilled these exercises and created simplicity out of them helps you in ways that simply going straight to her stuff and trying to sing it would never do. You want to immerse yourself in the style of Ado? Start by clicking that link below in the pinned comment or video description and joining my new free course specifically for Ado fans. Okay, before we get into what I think is the hook and the chorus, let's go back and talk about some of these things. I don't think I have heard her this arrangement heavy with all these different sorts of voices and characters since Show. This reminds me, I mean, it's very different sounding than Show, but it reminds me of that level of vocal arranging, and it's awesome. Make sure that we are recognizing her posture. Ma, ma, ma. She has the ability to bring us into different characters, into different emotions, like really no other voice. She's a la 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 la. Then she brings the placement up right here. It's a smaller, little bit more aggressive though. Lou, Let's talk about this head voice engagement real quick. So I want to point out though that this is not just her going, that's a massive, massive note change, right? A huge interval. And she's changing placements at the same time. When you are that comfortable messing with your placement, messing with the way that you can shape your vocal tract, you are able to use that flexibility to get better targeting pitches. So by her not pursuing like, oh, I got to hit this exact note or I got to do this or that, but by simply being playful and diverse with her placement, coordinated with her placement, she becomes better at hitting pitches, notes, better at hitting tricky intervals than she ever would have had she practiced the interval itself. That's key to understand. And I love the pitch that slides down even though it's not connected to the notes. If we as vocalists pay attention to this kind of stuff, where in songs that you sing, even if you're doing covers, even if they're not auto covers, can you put in a conversational, a speech-level expression that has no expectations of being actually sung? Rappers do this so well. It so much unlocks the character in your voice. Singers who are always singing melodies and never like play act or get a little goofy while they're singing really have very little chance of connecting with the people they're trying to reach. But as soon as you insert spoken humanity, spoken expression, and you blend that with the music, with your singing, you are on a whole other level of relatability. There's so much attitude there. One more. Wake up, listen to the way that she brings in that distortion there. So many of her distorted notes are brought in by sighing. This is because it allows her to release into them, not push into them. She is so free. So, one thing to notice here is she's ascending up to that beautiful belted note. She's covering a little bit, and she's throwing this placement back. Not si, but si. Like she's experiencing the note coming maybe out of the back of her head, resonating around her soft palate. And then as she climbs that line, the approach that she takes here would be easy to overlook because there's so much going on, so many background vocal things. This is why you have to listen to auto songs like 9 million times following the first listen, because you can't fully appreciate. It's not complexity, it's artistry. It's artistry. It's expressive artistry like few other artists actually give you. very showish in its own way, right? Love the melding of the genres too. Wow. So bent up, that's like a clean compression. I talk about this in one of my courses. It's not distorted, but she's still holding back this air, and it's actually increasing the percussiveness of the consonants. Okay, in that last section, so many gaps, right? Some of those were intentional pitch jumps, intervallic sorts of things. Some of those were just abandoned into these like hoots and hollers. I like that there's both. I like that, you know, a lot of times when she does those jumps, it's like these massive melody choices, and other times it's just expressiveness. I love the tone on that note. I'm not going to be able to hit it with the same sort of resonance that she does, but that's one of my favorite places of her voice. I was wondering if that was her. I think it sounds like her. Love the saw wave synth. That was awesome. I really thought she was going to go like or something like that, like but no, there was restraint there. She kind of led me on and then it stopped. I'm sure she's preparing us for some other eruption later. That was a cool ascent though. Yeah. And listen to that epiglottal engagement. Ha, ha, ha. More of a growl, less of a hey. She uses that false chord squeeze distortion. Yeah, 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 yeah. But here, it's more of a It's a little thing. If you use a scope and you look at your voice box while you're singing or swallowing, there's this thing that looks like a Pringle down there, Pringle chip. That's what's rattling when you make that sound, and that's what she's doing here. Do you hear her voice descend upon her own voice? The background vocals descended upon that note and softened it a little bit. That's what those are doing in the background while she's going, wake up more. While she's doing that, very aggressive, very belted. We have the floating in on top of it. Beautiful. Wake up Oh, listen to how she brought in that distortion. Now, her voice is doubled here. There's a lot that you can't hear as well because of the doubling, because of the production that you could, like in a live performance, which is why I love checking her out live. But it's fun to hear her produce with it too, because it creates textures that you couldn't produce live. But listen to this distortion here. right there. She's got what sounds like doubled or tripled lead voice. Some of them are, hey, extremely clean. Hey, hey, hey. And some of them have that buzzer false chord distortion. Yeah. And when you layer these together, you have this wonderful chorusy unison choir sound that happens. But because some takes are distorted and some takes are clean, you get a bellish note resonance that you couldn't really get any other way. We get the grit, we get the clean at the same time. And we have we have that note, and then we have I think there's that note up here that's panned out. So we have 2 or 3 right in the center, and then we have these soft angelic voices out here creating this wall of Ado. Yeah, that whole spoken choir thing back there too is awesome. I wonder if there's going to be a rat-ta-ta. That's a really cool technique and a fun thing to practice as a vocalist. A great warm-up. Notice what I did, inspired by what she did. I start in a heavy chest voice. And then I siren up through my break without having it break. I practice a medium of breath pressure and placement. So that I can ascend and descend through my passaggio without a The beauty of what Ado does all the time is that she uses that break, like with sighing, right? There's a break. But when she doesn't want it, she can blend, she can mix. This is a great exercise in conjunction with practicing sighing that will help you build dexterity and flexibility with your voice so that if you want to break and use it as an artistic tool, you can. If you don't want to, you can mix. More on that in the free course I've prepared for you, an Ado fan, linked in the pinned comment or video description. And notice, even on that, she goes back down and anchors in her chest voice. But there's no break. Man, so much going on. I seriously think that's the most produced I've heard since Show. And I think I've been tracking with every new studio release and a lot of the live stuff. Thank you for alerting me to this. Again, if you'd like help dialing in the sounds of Ado, I've made this stuff approachable for anyone. Click that link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my new free Ado course. Here is a growing playlist of other Ado analysis videos I've done right here on this channel. We'll see you for more.